Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning, Honorable Minister, Mr. Ehsan Iqbal, former Governor, State Bank of Pakistan, Dr. Ishrat Hussain, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm most grateful to Mr. Ijaz Nisar that he gives this opportunity at least once in a year in Karachi and sometimes more when he holds these programs in other cities as well, to allow me to share my views. But then I have come to a situation where I'm wondering since last night, what exactly would you like to hear from me after having heard me several times? I see familiar faces all around. You have all heard me before. If you want me to go into a lamentation, I can do that, and we are very good at it. But Mr. Ijaz Nisar just mentioned that, and he addressed all of us, the first group of people who are going to speak this morning, that please create hope. You want me to create hope to a nation that doesn't know when to wake up? If you can't wake up in the morning, then what time do you wish to wake up? You must tell me where I ought to go, said Alice. The Cheshire Cat looked at Alice and said, depends a whole lot on where you want to go. I don't care, so long as I'm somewhere. He said, oh, sure, you must do that. Then you will have to walk long. 78 years of walking. Isn't that a good enough walk for us to know where do we want to get to? If we can't write history, let's not at least distort history. The model state that was envisaged by the founder of this country, Mr. Muhammad Ali Jinnah, was based on the speech that he gave on the 11th of August, 1947. That speech, because he was a very clear-headed individual, and his clarity did not suit people who followed him. So that speech was truncated, expunged of its spirit. Consequently, we have seen what has happened all along. Now, how does one explain this predicament of yesterday, where suddenly there was a revision on net metering? When there was furore in the markets, we have even the Prime Minister coming back and telling the people of this country, I'll review this. Who did it? The Minister for Energy is also on record of saying, let me review this. So doesn't the right hand know what the left hand is doing? Okay, you want me to indulge in deception and deceit, I can do that. That everything is hunky-dory, we are on the right track. But that would be injustice to my own self as an individual and injustice to all of you listening to me. Let's be also conscious of the fact that if we speak about the foreign exchange reserves, for example, they are all borrowed. What have we earned? Mr. Sabi Ikram, you mentioned about exports and exports. What's new about it? Everybody sitting here has been saying that for the last 30 years that we need to increase our exports, that we need to follow the newly industrialized countries of Southeast Asia and Northeast Asia. What's new about it? It's there. The blueprint is available. What is it? It's the lack of will? Or is it confusion and no clarity on where we wish to head as a nation? I'll give you a classic example of my own self, and I think that should explain a lot. Upon return to Pakistan, I started working for a local bank that had newly opened. And I was having a session, a strategy session with Chairman of the bank, a very fine entrepreneur, brilliant individual. He thought well. As elegant as he was in his dressing, he was elegant in his choice of words also. So in this strategy, I was mentioning to him every now and then that we must do this, we shall do this, we will do that. He interrupted me and he said, Siraj, can I ask you something? I said, yes. He said, you're continuously saying we should do it, so can you tell me which portion I have to do? Because you're using a plural. I realized that, no, he doesn't have to do anything. Everything must be done by me, and I was using a plural, that we shall do it. I think that is where the dilemma is, who shall do it? The entrepreneurs of this country, I have a major grouse against them. They follow a herd mentality. Those who are good in textiles are opening dairy farms. Those who are good in dairy farms are going into energy sector. to make quick money? Is that the direction we wish to take? There is no harm in making money. There is no harm in leading a good life. But at the cost of whom is a question that every single individual needs to ask. So if the entrepreneurs pay a cumulative tax of 295 billion and the salaried class pays a tax of 315 billion, what does that talk about our state of mind? What is our psyche? And who are those 315 billion payers? Choiceless. Choiceless because it's deducted at source. Given a choice, possibly they might also pay less than 295 billion. I think what has been the dilemma is that we have always given preference to mediocrity in life rather than excellence. Excellence is to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Karachi, which is the financial capital of the city, doesn't wake up till about 11, 12 in the morning. Okay, so what do we need to say to each other? Simple thing, let's wake up on time. Let's sleep on time and wake up on time. And employ available light that's given to us. Because sun, I believe, is for the first time, the sun has been taxed by a government. Okay, it hasn't happened since times immemorial. So let's utilize the time that's available to us and be able to do something. No Chinese I have seen, I have lived in that part of the world considerable years of my experience, no Chinese wakes up late. No Singaporean wakes up late, ladies and gentlemen. Neither does the Malaysians, neither does the Thai. What's wrong with us? Inward looking is what we need to do. Creating hope, I can't do that. I really can't do that. I would be not doing justice to the trust that I have in my own self. I have to speak the truth. And the truth is that if your remittances exceed 10% of your GDP, it is a red signal. It's flashing on our faces. We must do something about it. The economy is not producing enough. The reliance on remittances is like building a castle on, what do they call it, shifting sands? Because this can dry up in no time, depending on the political situation. So there is no clarity across the various segments of the society. The togetherness, the unanimity that we had. We need to, you have written here, Mr. Ijaz Nisar, reimagine. I would like to just replace that word and say restart. Fine. We have to catch up to what we were good at. I became conscious of our state and my existence in this country during a decade that was referred to as the decade of development, which indeed it was, I think. But I have grown only in decades of destruction. Every single institution has been hacked terribly and has been devoid of its fangs, expunged of its bite. Consequently, we don't even know what our justice mechanism is. We have played all around. The supremacy of justice which the Qaid believed in, does it exist? Okay, fine. Again, I'm lamenting, right? That's all I can do. If you expect me to create hope, I think I'll leave it to my other speakers who follow me. But however, I would like to identify one or two areas that require critical attention of all of us. Education is something that can begin at home. Okay, so let's start concentrating on people who are there to help us in our daily chores. If they have got children, let's spend time talking to them. Let's spend time being a teacher to them. And teacher is a concept, ladies and gentlemen, particularly in the Orient, that is the most respectable individual in the society. And what have we done to our teachers? I need not go any further. So let's start and be the teacher to those people who are underprivileged and start education there. Education is going to be critical because that allows us to challenge the validity of the status quo. So if we concentrate on that area, that will be better. The second area, where obviously, again, I'm saying things that are common knowledge. I'm not saying something more dramatic or something more profound. I'm merely repeating everything that I have written about, so has everybody written about. Where is the will? Where is the will to change? I think one of the earlier speakers, whether it was Mr. Sabi Ikram or Mr. Ijaz Nisar, mentioned about changing things. Who could have written a better civil service reform than Dr. Ishrat Hussain? Where is it? Where is it? Why can't we implement it? My first brushes with bureaucracy have happened in the last 2 years. And I've realized the whole idea is don't let anybody work. Create so much inefficiency in the system that nothing should move. Antiquated systems, antiquated processes. There is no value added by the various levels of the government that the paper passes through. No addition in value. Trust me when I say that, at least to the extent that I have seen in the limited design that I am working with. So I think we always refer to collective responsibility. I think let's go back and do something different. Let's talk in terms of individual responsibility. And let's all create targets for our own selves at what we want to do for my country. Let me list down 4 items that I need to do in 2026. Once I have completed that, I have done my part. Let's do that. Possibly that would make a difference, and we'll be able to then reimagine and restart where we ought to. She had promised me that she will not interrupt. Okay. No, I'm just joking. I'll leave you with this thought. See the benefit of having the Minister for Planning. I think planning commissions that I have seen, read about, sometimes worked with outside of Pakistan, they're the main drivers. And somehow I have an impression, because I have interacted with the Honorable Minister several times, and we have been together on some scholarship programs of the government. I get a feel, Professor Saab, that you need to be listened to by the cabinet. Make them listen to you. Thank you very much.